Are you noticing that your cats are constantly fighting over who's in charge? It can feel like a battle for territory, and sometimes it seems like they're just not getting along no matter how hard you try. But here's the thing, cats can sometimes get into dominance struggles that can make life at home difficult. It's frustrating, and it's stressful not just for the cats, but for you too. So, let's talk about what's going on, why it's happening, and how to prevent it so your home can be peaceful again. If you've been a cat owner for a while, you know that felines are known for being independent. It's just part of their nature, but when you bring another cat into the household, you may notice some territorial behavior or dominance issues that you didn't expect. These struggles are usually about control over resources, things like food, territory, and even your attention. Now, let's break this down. Dominance struggles between cats can start when one cat feels like it's losing its place in the pecking order. This is especially true in multi-cat households where each one is trying to secure its position in the family. If you've recently introduced a new cat, that's when the issues can arise, but even if your cats have been together for a while, things can still shift. What you'll notice when there are dominance struggles is that the cats may hiss, growl, or even physically fight each other. These behaviors are clear signs of one cat asserting its dominance over the other. It might even escalate to the point where one cat avoids the other or even starts hiding because it feels unsafe or threatened. So, what can you do to prevent this from happening, or at least reduce the intensity of the conflicts? First, understand that it's not always a battle you can win with force or punishment. Instead, you want to focus on strategies that are calm, strategic, and above all, humane. Creating a safe and secure environment for both cats is essential. The first thing you'll want to do is make sure that each cat has its own space. This is key in preventing territorial issues. Cats are naturally territorial animals, and when you have multiple cats in one household, you need to make sure they have separate areas where they feel they have control. This could mean having separate feeding areas, separate litter boxes, and even separate spaces to sleep or relax. Yes, it's a bit more work, but it can really help them feel safe and secure. Another great tip is to establish clear boundaries. Cats are creatures of habit, so creating a routine where they know when to expect food, playtime, and even quiet time can really help reduce stress and minimize conflict. If you've ever noticed that your cats are calmer when they're following a predictable schedule, it's because cats love routine. This helps them feel in control, reducing the likelihood of conflict. Next up, let's talk about positive reinforcement. Instead of focusing on punishing the cats for fighting or displaying dominance behavior, try to encourage calmness by rewarding positive interactions. For example, if you see that your cats are sharing a space peacefully, give them treats or praise. The more you reward good behavior, the more likely they are to repeat it. On the flip side, if they start to act aggressively, it's important to calmly redirect their attention. Sometimes, just a quick distraction, like offering a toy or calling their name, can break up a tense situation before it escalates. Speaking of toys, having plenty of interactive toys for your cats can really help keep them engaged and distracted. Sometimes, dominance struggles arise from boredom. Cats need mental stimulation and physical exercise to stay healthy, both physically and emotionally. Make sure you're offering a variety of toys that allow him to hunt, chase, and explore. This way, they'll be less likely to focus on each other and more focused on their own fun. Something else you can do is slowly introduce your cats to each other. If you've recently adopted a new cat, take your time and don't force them to interact before they're ready. Start by keeping them separated, allowing them to get used to each other's scent. You can do this by swapping their bedding or using a cloth to rub each cat and then let the other cat smell it. This helps them become familiar with each other without direct contact, which can reduce the feeling of threat. Also, keep in mind that some cats just naturally have more dominant personalities. If that's the case, try to establish the pecking order early on, so that the dominant cat knows its place and the other cat doesn't feel threatened. This doesn't mean you need to train the dominant cat to act differently, but it does mean that you should be more vigilant about how resources are distributed and ensure that both cats have what they need. Here's another point: don't overlook stress as a contributing factor. Stress can fuel dominance behavior. When cats are stressed, they're more likely to fight or act aggressively. And what causes stress in cats? It could be anything from loud noises to a change in routine to new people or animals in the house. It's essential to create a calm, peaceful environment for your cats to thrive. If you've recently moved, remodeled, or introduced a new animal, those changes can be a source of anxiety. Managing stress is a big part of preventing dominance struggles, so keep an eye on what might be causing stress and try to minimize it. If you're still noticing consistent struggles, it may be time to consult with a veterinarian or a feline behaviorist. Sometimes, there could be underlying health issues contributing to the behavior. Cats can also express pain or discomfort through aggression, so it's essential to rule out any medical causes. A behaviorist will be able to give you personalized advice based on the unique personalities and circumstances of your cats. It's also important to remember that patience is key. Cats are complex creatures, and sometimes these issues don't resolve overnight. It takes time to change behavior, especially when dealing with territorial instincts. If you stay consistent with the strategies you've implemented and maintain a calm, loving approach, you will likely see improvement over time. The journey of managing dominance struggles between cats can be challenging, but with patience, persistence, and the right techniques, you can create a more peaceful home for both your feline friends. Just keep in mind that your cats are doing what comes naturally to them, they're just trying to figure out their place in the household. It's your job to guide them in a way that minimizes stress and helps them live harmoniously together. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more useful advice on living with your cats. I'd love to hear how you handle dominance struggles in your own household, so feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and remember, a little patience goes a long way when it comes to your furry companions.